Emma worked at Oak Street Cafe for 6 years. She started as a dishwasher and became the head barista. She knew all the regular customers by name and what coffee they liked. It was a normal Tuesday when everything changed. Thomas, the manager, looked worried when he arrived. He called everyone together before they opened. "I have bad news," Thomas said. "The building has been sold to tech giant. We have 30 days to leave." The staff stood in silence. Emma felt her heart sink. This cafe wasn't just her job. It was her second home. All day Emma made coffees with a fake smile. Inside she was thinking about her problems. Her brother Oliver needed expensive medicine. Her rent was due next week. She had been saving to open her own cafe someday. "What will I do now?" she thought as she made a complicated latte for Mrs. Wilson, who came every Tuesday. The afternoon was busy. Emma worked without stopping. At 4:30 p.m. the door opened. Emma looked up and froze. She recognized the man immediately from news stories and websites. It was him, the CEO of tech giant, the very man whose company was making her lose her job. He wore an expensive suit and was looking at his phone. 2 people in suits followed him. The cafe went quiet. James, who was making sandwiches, stopped with a knife in midair. Lily, who was cleaning tables, stood still with her cloth. The CEO didn't notice. He walked to the counter, still looking at his phone. "Medium coffee, please," he said without looking at Emma. Emma felt strange. It was like time slowed down. This man was changing her life, and he didn't even see her as a person. Her hands, usually steady when making coffee, now shook slightly. 6 years of practice seemed to disappear. She tried to focus on making a perfect coffee for this important customer. She thought about Oak Street Cafe. It had been here for 23 years. Old Mr. Parker had opened it and named it after the big oak tree outside. When he retired, his daughter Beth took over. Beth had given Emma her first job when no one else would. Now tech giant was going to tear it down for new offices. Not just the cafe, but also the bookshop next door, the flower shop, and the small grocery store. All these small businesses where people worked hard every day. The CEO still hadn't looked up from his phone. Did he know how many people would lose their jobs? Did he care? Emma poured the coffee carefully into the cup. She added the lid and turned around. She took a step toward the counter where the CEO waited. That's when it happened. Emma's foot caught on the uneven floorboard, the one all the staff knew to avoid. She stumbled forward. The coffee flew out of her hand. Time seemed to slow down as the cup spun in the air. Hot coffee sprayed out. It landed right on the CEO's white shirt and expensive tie. Brown liquid soaked through immediately. "Oh," he gasped, finally looking up from his phone. Coffee dripped down his shirt. The cafe went completely silent. Even the music playing in the background seemed to stop. "I'm so sorry," Emma said quietly. Then something changed in her. She stood up straighter and looked directly at him. "I'm sorry," she said again, but louder this time. "I'm sorry that this coffee shop that has served this community for 23 years means nothing to you." The CEO stared at her, his mouth open in surprise. His assistants rushed to help him, offering napkins. "Do you know how many people will lose their jobs because of you?" Emma continued. She wasn't shouting, but her voice carried through the silent cafe. "Not just here, but the bookshop where Ben helps children learn to read, the flower shop where Mary makes bouquets for everyone's special moments, the grocery store where Jack knows every customer by name." The CEO looked at Emma, really, seeing her for the first time. He seemed unable to speak. Someone in the cafe had their phone out recording everything. Emma didn't notice. "We're not just businesses," she said. "We're people. We're a community." Then Thomas stepped forward. "Emma," he said quietly, "that's enough." The CEO adjusted his wet tie. Without a word, he turned and walked out, his assistants hurrying after him. As the door closed behind them, Emma realized what she had done. Her hands began to shake again, but for a different reason now. "I'm so sorry, Thomas," she whispered. "I'll clean this up." but they both knew she had spilled more than just coffee. The Endema sat at her small kitchen table that evening. Her phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Someone had posted the video online. It showed everything: the coffee spilling, her speaking to the CEO, him walking out. Barista throws coffee on tech giant CEO and publicly humiliates him. That's what the headline said. The video had thousands of views already. Thomas had been kind but firm. "I'm sorry, Emma. I have to let you go." She understood. What boss could keep an employee who threw coffee on one of the richest men in the country, even if it was an accident? Emma made a cup of tea and looked around her tiny flat. The walls needed painting. The furniture was old, but it was home. How would she pay rent now? She thought of Oliver, her younger brother. He needed special medicine that cost a lot of money. Their parents were gone and she was all he had. "What have I done?" she whispered to the empty room. Her phone buzzed again. This time it was a text from Lily. "Are you okay? We all support you." That took courage. Emma didn't feel courageous. She felt scared and alone. Then her email made a noise. A new message had arrived from an address she didn't recognize. She almost deleted it, thinking it was spam. But the subject line caught her eye. "I saw what happened." The email was from Mary Wilson. Emma had to think for a moment before she remembered. Mary used to come to the cafe every day for 2 years. She always ordered a cappuccino with extra chocolate. Then she moved away. Emma opened the email. "Dear Emma," it read. "I saw the video of what happened today. I've been planning to open a new cafe across town. I need a partner who understands community the way you do. Are you interested? Please call me." Emma read the email 3 times. Was this real? She checked the phone number Mary had included. With shaking fingers, she dialed. Mary answered on the second ring. "Emma, I hoped you would call." "Is this a joke?" Emma asked. Mary laughed. "Not at all. I've been saving for years to open my own place. When I saw that video, I knew you were the perfect partner. You stand up for what's right." They talked for an hour. Mary's plan sounded wonderful. A cafe that would be more than just a business. It would be a community space with fair prices and a program to train young people who needed jobs. "Think about it," Mary said before they hung up. "We could make something special." For the first time since the coffee incident, Emma felt hope. Meanwhile, in a large office across the city, the CEO of tech giant sat alone. He had changed his shirt, but he could still smell coffee on his skin. His phone had not stopped ringing. His public relations team wanted to release a statement. His lawyers wanted to sue the cafe and the barista. His assistant had already drafted an email to fire the entire team working on the building purchase. But the CEO wasn't listening to any of them. He was watching the video of himself. "We're not just businesses. We're people. We're a community." The barista's words played over and over in his mind. He thought back to his childhood. His parents had owned a small shop. When a big company forced them out, his father had never really recovered. The CEO had promised himself he would never forget where he came from, but he had forgotten. When had money and success become more important than people? He picked up his phone and called his assistant. "Cancel all those plans," he said. "No statements, no lawsuits, and don't fire the building team." "But sir," his assistant began. Instead, the CEO continued, "I want to learn more about these businesses. The cafe, the bookshop, the flower shop, and the grocery store. Get me information about the owners, how long they've been there, what they mean to the community." "May I ask why, sir?" his assistant asked. The CEO looked out his window at the city lights. "Because that barista was right. I've forgotten something important, and I need to remember." He hung up and leaned back in his chair. For the first time in years, he felt something shift inside him. The barista, Emma, he'd learned her name was, had shown him something he needed to see. Maybe, he thought, this coffee incident was exactly what I needed. He turned off his office light and went home, thinking about community, small, businesses and a barista brave enough to speak truth to power. The end 3 weeks passed. Emma spent most days with Mary, planning their new cafe. They found a nice space with big windows that let in lots of light. They called it Bridge Cafe because they wanted to connect people. "We'll have fair prices so everyone can come," Mary said as they painted the walls a warm yellow color. "And we'll train young people who need jobs." Emma felt excited again. The coffee incident had changed her life, but maybe for the better. Still, she missed Oak Street Cafe. She missed the regular customers and her co-workers. "There's a community meeting tonight," Mary told her. "The neighborhood association wants to talk about tech giant buying buildings here. We should go." Emma wasn't sure. "What if people recognize me from the video?" "That's exactly why we should go," Mary said. "People respect what you did." That evening they went to the meeting at the local library. The room was packed. Emma recognized many faces: customers from Oak Street Cafe, shopkeepers from nearby stores, neighbors from her street. Mr. Jenkins, who ran the neighborhood association, stood up. "We're here to discuss the future of our community," he said. "Tech Giant has bought 5 buildings on Oak Street. Many small businesses will have to close." People looked worried. A woman raised her hand. "My family has shopped at that grocery store for 3 generations. Where will we go now?" An old man spoke next. "I meet my friends at the cafe every morning. It's the only time I see people all day." Emma's heart hurt listening to them. This wasn't just about jobs, it was about connections between people. Mr. Jenkins nodded. "We've invited someone from Tech Giant to explain their plans, but I don't think they're coming." The door opened. Everyone turned to look. The CEO of Tech Giant walked in. Alone. No assistants. No security guards. The room went completely quiet. Emma couldn't believe it. She sank lower in her chair, hoping he wouldn't see her. The CEO walked to the front of the room. He looked different from the day in the cafe. Less important somehow. More human. "Thank you for allowing me to speak," he said. His voice was quiet but clear. "My name is William, and I'm the CEO of Tech Giant." He paused, looking around the room. 3 weeks ago, something happened that made me think differently about our plans. A barista reminded me that buildings aren't just property. They're places where communities live and grow. Emma felt her face get hot. People were turning to look at her now. "I grew up above my parents' small bookshop," William continued. "When a big company bought our building, we lost everything. My father never recovered. I promised I would never forget that feeling." He took a deep breath. "But I did forget. Until recently." William took out some papers from his jacket. "I want to share new plans with you. Tech Giant will still buy the buildings, but we won't tear them down. The businesses can stay with reduced rent. We'll improve the buildings but keep their character." People started whispering to each other. Was this real? "Also," William said, "we want to create a community board to make decisions about future changes, because you know what this neighborhood needs better than we do." After he finished speaking, many people asked questions. William answered all of them patiently. When the meeting ended, people gathered around him, talking excitedly. Mary nudged. "Emma, did you expect this?" Emma shook her head. "Not at all." As people began to leave, William looked around the room. Then he saw Emma. He walked over to her. Emma wanted to hide. What would he say? Would he be angry? "Hello," he said, standing in front of her. "You're Emma, right?" She nodded, unable to speak. "I want to thank you," he said. "Thank me?" Emma was confused. "I spilled coffee on you. I embarrassed you." William smiled slightly. "You woke me up. I've been making decisions without thinking about the people affected. You reminded me of what's important." Emma didn't know what to say. "I hear you're opening a new cafe," William said. "Yes, with Mary," Emma said, surprised he knew. "Bridge Cafe. We want it to be a place that brings people together." William nodded. "That sounds wonderful. I'd like to help if you'll let me." "Help?" Emma asked. "Tech Giant has a program that supports small businesses," he explained. "Low-interest loans, business advice, whatever you need." Emma looked at Mary, who seemed just as surprised. "Why would you help us?" Emma asked. William looked thoughtful. "Because communities matter, and sometimes we all need a second chance." He handed her his card. "Think about it." As he walked away, Emma looked at the card in her hand. Maybe one small accident really could change everything. The end 6 months had passed since the coffee incident. Bridge Cafe was now open and doing well. Emma and Mary had created a warm, welcoming place with comfortable chairs and plants in the windows. Local artists' paintings hung on the walls. On weekends, musicians played in the corner. They had hired 5 young people from the neighborhood who needed jobs. Emma taught them how to make perfect coffee, and Mary taught them about business. Emma was teaching Ben, a shy 18-year-old, how to make a complicated coffee design when the door opened. William, the CEO of tech giant, walked in. He came to Bridge Cafe about once a month now, usually alone. "Good morning, Emma," he said with a smile. "How's business?" "Getting better each week," she replied. "The community board meets here tonight, by the way." William nodded. "I'll be there." The community board had been his idea, but he rarely spoke at meetings. He mostly listened as local people discussed what the neighborhood needed. Emma made William's usual coffee, medium with a little milk. As she handed it to him, she asked, "How are things at Oak Street?" William smiled. "See for yourself." "Thomas asked if you would visit. The renovations are finished." Emma hadn't been back to Oak Street Cafe since that day. Part of her wanted to see it, but another part was nervous. After her shift ended, Emma walked the 15 minutes to her old workplace. The street looked different. The buildings were cleaner, with fresh paint, but they still had their old character. Each shop still had its original sign. She stopped outside the cafe, her heart beating fast. Through the window, she could see new tables and chairs, but the layout was the same. The old photos of the neighborhood still hung on the walls. Taking a deep breath, Emma pushed open the door. The familiar bell jingled. Thomas looked up from behind the counter. His face broke into a wide smile. "Emma," he called, rushing around to hug her. At last, Lily and James came out from the back room, both grinning. They hugged her too. "We've been asking you to visit for months," Thomas said. "What do you think of the place?" Emma looked around. "It's beautiful. Different, but still the same somehow." "That was the idea," Thomas explained. "William wanted to improve things without changing what makes this place special." Emma noticed a wall with photos of staff members past and present. She was surprised to see herself there, smiling in her barista apron. "You're still part of our family," Thomas said, following her gaze. "Always will be." Thomas made her a coffee and they sat down together. He told her how business had improved since the renovations. The rent was lower now, so they could afford more staff. "And how are things at Bridge Cafe?" Thomas asked. "Good," Emma said. "Different from here, but good. We're making a difference, I think." Thomas nodded. "William comes here sometimes. He talks about your place." "He comes to Bridge, too," Emma said. "I still can't believe how everything turned out." As they talked, regular customers came in. They recognized Emma and stopped to chat. Mrs. Wilson, who came every Tuesday. Mr. Parker, who read the newspaper for hours. All of them happy to see her. Emma felt a wave of emotion. This place had been her second home for 6 years. These people were like family. "I've been thinking," Thomas said when the customers had gone. "Oak Street is doing well now, but we need someone to manage our new evening hours." Emma looked at him surprised. "Are you offering me a job?" Thomas nodded. "Part-time. You could still work at Bridge in the mornings. What do you think?" Emma didn't know what to say. Part of her wanted to say yes immediately. But Bridge Cafe needed her too. "Can I think about it?" she asked. "Of course," Thomas said. "The offer won't disappear." When Emma left Oak Street Cafe, the sky was turning pink with sunset. She walked slowly, thinking. 6 months ago, she had been afraid and angry, uncertain about her future. Now she had more opportunities than she could handle. She remembered the moment when she had spoken up to William, how scared she had felt, how certain she was that she had ruined everything. Instead, that moment had changed not just her life, but the whole neighborhood. William had remembered his roots. The shops on Oak Street had been saved. Bridge Cafe was helping young people find their way. Sometimes, Emma thought, the scariest moments can lead to the most beautiful changes. When she reached Bridge Cafe, the community board meeting was about to start. William was there, sitting quietly in the corner. He nodded to Emma as she entered. "Ready to talk about what's next for the neighborhood?" Mary asked, making space for Emma. Emma smiled. "Absolutely," she said. "I have some ideas to share." The Endone year had passed since the day Emma spilled coffee on William. It was a bright, spring morning, and Oak Street was busy. Shops had their doors open and flowers bloomed in new planters along the sidewalk. Emma worked mornings at Bridge Cafe and evenings at Oak Street Cafe. It was a busy life, but she loved both places. Each cafe had its own feeling and its own special customers. Today was special. The neighborhood was having a celebration. 1 year since the community board started. 1 year since the small businesses on Oak Street were saved. Emma walked down the street greeting people she knew. The bookshop owner waved from his door. The florist gave her a small bunch of daisies. The grocery store owner's son ran up to hug her legs. "Today's going to be great," he said, looking up at her with a big smile. Emma smiled back. "Yes, it is." The celebration would happen in the small park at the end of Oak Street. Tech Giant had helped turn an empty lot into a green space with trees, benches, and a playground. Local businesses would have food stands. There would be music and games. When Emma reached Bridge Cafe, Mary was already setting up tables outside. "Perfect day for a party," Mary said. "Ben is making special cookies for the celebration." Ben, the shy young man Emma had trained, was now their best baker. He had a gift for creating delicious treats. "How many people do you think will come?" Emma asked, helping Mary set up chairs. "Hundreds," Mary said. "The whole neighborhood is talking about it." By noon, the park was full of people. Children played on the new playground. Adults sat on blankets on the grass, eating food from the different stands. Local musicians played cheerful songs. Emma was busy serving coffee with the other young people they had trained. She saw Thomas and the Oak Street team at their stand across the park. They waved to her. Emma noticed William sitting, alone on a bench under a tree. He was watching the children play, a small smile on his face. She made 2 coffees and walked over to him. "Mind if I join you?" she asked. William looked up, surprised. "Please do." Emma sat beside him and handed him a coffee. "1 year," she said. "Hard to believe." William nodded. "So much has changed." They sat quietly for a moment, watching the celebration. "Thank you," William said suddenly. "For the coffee?" Emma asked. "For that day," William said. "For speaking up. It changed everything for me." Emma thought about how to answer. "I was so scared that day," she admitted. "I thought I had ruined my life. Instead, you helped many people, including me." William looked at her. "My father would have been proud of what we've done here." Emma hadn't heard William talk much about his father before. "Tell me about him," she said. William spoke slowly. "He believed business should help communities, not hurt them. When we lost our bookshop, something broke in him. I promised I would make things right somehow." "But then you forgot," Emma said gently. "Yes," William agreed. "Success made me forget. Until you reminded me." Emma remembered how angry she had been that day, how hopeless she had felt. "I never thought it would end like this." William smiled. "Neither did I." The president of the neighborhood association stood up on the small stage set up in the park. He tapped the microphone. "Welcome, everyone," he called. "Today we celebrate 1 year of our community working together, and we have some exciting news to share." Emma and William listened as he explained that the community board had worked with Tech Giant to create a special fund. The fund would help small businesses in other neighborhoods that were facing similar problems. "We want what happened here to happen everywhere," the president explained. "Communities should have a voice in how they change and grow." People clapped. and cheered. Some looked toward William with grateful smiles. A little girl ran up to Emma and William's bench. She held out a paper flag she had made. "For you," she said, "because you saved our street." Emma took the flag, touched by the girl's words. "We all saved it together," she said. The girl shook her head. "My mom says it started with you and your coffee." As the girl ran back to her friends, William laughed softly. "Smart mom," he said. Emma looked at the celebration around them. Children playing, neighbors talking, small business owners serving food and drinks, a community together. She thought about how one small moment can change so many lives, how speaking up, even when it's scary, can make a difference, how forgiveness and working together can build something beautiful. "I think this is just the beginning," she said to William. He nodded, looking at the paper flag in her hand. "I think you're right." The end.